Almost all of a person's psychological problems come from pride, because pride wants to control everything. But this world does not belong to you. The Creator rules the world, not you. The people around you are not obligated to meet your expectations. If you want everything to go your way, everything will start to irritate you. But they act differently, or situations occur that don't fit into your planned scenario. Then a person gets angry, and anger is a consequence of pride. How can this be? Why is everything not going the way it was supposed to? Why aren't they doing what I decided? Why is the situation unfolding not according to my plan? Why am I not in control of this? And psychologists start treating such people. They relieve their stress, figure out how everything works. But often they themselves fall into the same pride. That's why psychologists need psychologists. You've probably heard psychologists are treated by other psychologists. Why? Because they are caught up in pride. They treat pride in others and fall into it themselves. Since they don't need the Creator, they try to control reality with their own knowledge. They know how it works. I know, it's like this, and this. Now I'll pull these strings and help the person. I'll cure them. Then they fall into pride. Now they think they're the ones controlling reality. Such an interesting trap. If you feel how the Creator rejoices, or the suffering of the Shekhinah, which cannot be revealed below, these are all positive sensations to which one must work, strive to attain them. Even if you don't feel it, still keep striving, because it comes from above as a gift. Men cry, real men. I cry, and I know many other people who, when they enter the state of Yuchudim, they cry. It's impossible not to cry. These are all stigmas of the material world. Men cry. Surely you've heard how Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai revealed and cried. He stood up and cried. Everyone cries. You need to understand this well too. Side effects, not spirituality. They are merely echoes of the fact that you are entering these states well. And these states reach the physical body. You might cry, feel a taste suddenly. You might even start to float. They say Rabbi Chaim Vital would rise into the air during prayer. He himself didn't even know about it. People told him about it from the outside. So, there can be all sorts of special effects in the physical world. But there are two things you must not do. First, you must not strive for this as a goal, so it doesn't become more important than the spiritual connection with the Creator. And second, you must not start perceiving this as if it were true spiritual attainment. These are just echoes, not the attainment itself. They're simply special effects. But the inner work is going beyond the boundaries of your own egoism and pride. It's self-nullification, a very important quality. To nullify yourself, you can make such transitions quite often, many times a day. And it's not necessary to enter into some deep states, even without super meditations, just any action. You did something, finished, sat down, thanked the Creator. I didn't do anything. Everything was done by the Creator. Thank you for doing this. And in this way, switch your focus to the fact that I didn't do something. The Creator did everything after the action. After you've done it, after you achieve the result, that's when you need to switch your focus. And this is what later helps to bring about a new nature, to the feeling that He is in control. The Creator's thought governs the whole world, governs each of us. You can read about this in the first part of the study of the 10 Sefirot in Inner Reflection. Baal HaSulam writes that it is precisely this thought that is the driving force by which the Creator governs, by which everything is created, and which is the reward at the end of correction, and at the same time, the process we are currently in, as we go through all these stages of concealment and work. All of this is one thought of the Creator. How does He define this? He defines all of this through 10 Sephirot, the 10 Sefirot of the active intellect, the thought of the Creator that governs everything. Everything is that, and there is nothing besides it. And we are all inside this thought. Everything we think is merely an echo of this single thought, and we need to reach its root, from where everything comes. And everything comes only from that place, where it is not we who act, but He acts. He must respond to our lack. He responds to our lack, to our questions, desires. The Higher One is truly infinite, without limitations. And the fact that He gives you something in a limited way is simply because you cannot receive more. You do not have the vessel to receive in an unlimited way, but even in this limited form, what He gives, it is more than you can imagine with your mind. Because He gives you more than you imagine, that is called Habad. You do not have Habad. Yuvhagat Venehim. There is a path where a person himself begins to go beyond the boundaries he has set for himself, and to trust, to believe, to want to receive an answer not from your own mind, not from your own limitations, to believe that there is infinity beyond yourself, and if not, then there is suffering, which will purify him. Here the Almighty devised, He has two forces, either Torah or suffering. There is no third option. If you completely leave material perception, then a person will die. But the Almighty does not want us to die, and we also do not want to die. But we can carefully balance between these two worlds. That is, we have the material, Malchut, and we have the spiritual, Binah. And we can move between these two worlds. We can, as it were, be in two bodies at the same time, here and now, in this world, doing everything that ordinary people do. To eat, drink, sleep, walk, work, and so on. And at the same time, to be in the world of Yichudim, which connects all roots with branches, and lives in adhesion with the Creator in spiritual attainments. This is the body of Binah, the quality of bestowal, the spiritual body. One can be in two worlds at the same time. This is the state of a prophet. It is impossible to fully transition into the spiritual. What is meant is to enter a world where there is no time, no space, and no sensory organs. That would be like dying. But to do so completely means to be entirely freed from this. However, that is simply not our goal. We do not seek to leave this world. We strive to carry out our correction in this world. One must be connected to the roots. And so, to move between these states, to be in them, to feel the Creator, the souls of the righteous, the spiritual worlds, simultaneously, to be here and do what we need to do, each person in their own tikkun. It is written in the book by Rav Menachem Merkanti, the chapter Vayechi, consider the secret that I will reveal to you about what was said by the sages. The patriarchs died by a kiss, the righteous, during seclusion, would study the higher mysteries, and with the help of imagination, would mentally picture as if what they were studying was happening before their eyes. And at that moment, when they would connect their soul to the higher soul, the secrets would reveal themselves. The reason for this was the absence of thought. It is similar to a person who opens a reservoir. The water flows out and runs, spreading farther and farther. In the same way, clinging thoughts become a source, a reservoir, and an unceasing flow. Whoever attaches their mind to wicked thoughts, this is worse than a person's misdeeds, as has been said by the sages. This is called death by a kiss, a symbol of the connection between the one who kisses and the beloved object. Kabbalists use the language of parables. For example, they use the word death. They indicate a departure from material perception. When a person wants to move from one state to another, he must leave the previous level and move to another. This means to die in one place and to be born in another. Therefore, death here is not a negative state. One must know and feel the language of spiritual transmission, which is called the language of roots and branches. Here, death is a positive spiritual concept indicating the exit of a person from material perception into unity with the Creator, which is likened to a kiss. The negative concept of spiritual death is the severance of connection with the Almighty when a person becomes dead, lifeless. As a symbol, this is manifested in the physical body, when the life force leaves it and it ceases to function. The same happens with our spiritual connection to the Creator, which is interrupted by a material perception. It kills, disconnects from the source of life, and turns inward on itself. Or because of intense pressure on the mind, trying to comprehend what is beyond its power, his soul will depart and return to the source. The sages spoke about this, about the wondrous, do not ask about what is above you. For this reason, the early Hasidim would elevate their thoughts only up to their source. They also attained a prophetic state. The prophet would seclude himself, set the intention of his heart, and connect his mind to the source. And after this seclusion, the prophet would reveal what would happen in the future. The above means union with the Creator, dvekut, adhesion.